Joining us from the land of wood and water, Jamaica, is Stephen Price, Vice President and General Manager, Flow Business and C&W Business, an experienced operations director and sales distribution strategist with more than 20 years in the telecommunications industry, a track record of success in capturing market share and delivering on P&L performance growth. Stephen has been leading the 1,200 plus team at the Jamaica arm of Liberty Latin America since 2017. His dedication to ensuring sustainable business performance and future-proof operations have resulted in bold changes in both brands since the start of his tenure. His presentation is sure to set the tone for our two-day event. So I invite Stephen Price to the screen.
Hi, Tamara. Thank you very much for that nice introduction. The accolades, I mean, look quite young, but I mean, it's been 20 years in the business. So thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Good morning, everyone. It's absolutely a pleasure, an absolute honor to be here. And I really want to thank the CANTO organization for inviting me to really share our outlook from Liberty Latin America and from Cayman Wireless Communications with this audience. This August audience is one that I have great pleasure in associating with, and I hope that my presentations finds favor with you. But let me first share a little about our group. Liberty Latin America is a leading communications and entertainment company with operations in Chile, Puerto Rico, Costa Rica, Panama, and the Caribbean, and other parts of Latin America. Cayman Wireless Communications is a member of the Liberty Latin America group of companies and is one of the leading communications and entertainment providers in the Caribbean and Latin America. We have operated in the region since the 1870s, always at the forefront of innovating infrastructure and services, from historic telegraph poles, you remember those, and cables, to modern day super-fast broadband, mobile, landline, and video services. At LLA, we're in an incredibly diverse team, operating across many different countries and regions. What connects us, unites us, and makes us who we are is the passion and pride we have for creating moments that matter for our customers. I'm the Vice President and General Manager of Flow Jamaica, a subsidiary of Cayman Wireless Communications, where I lead a team of more than 1,500 employees. We're the leading service provider in Jamaica, delivering connected entertainment through mobile, cable TV, broadband, and fixed lines. The company has a rich legacy in Jamaica, and our continued presence speaks to our strong linkages with the country and our commitment to the Jamaican people, national development, and the provision of first-class services to our customers, both businesses and residential. As a leading provider of quad-play communication and entertainment services, we're the company that powers lives and powers Jamaica, literally. Our vision is to be the network that keeps Jamaica connected by providing connectivity in ways that our customers demand, need. The COVID pandemic, and let me set the stage for you, has totally transformed our way of life and how we do business. Across the region, where many markets are dependent on tourism as the main foreign exchange earner, closed borders and other safety protocols dealt really hard blows to our respective economies. Small and medium-sized businesses, the real backbone and engine room of our economies, really buckled under the pressure, as many were yet to undergo the necessary digital transformation that would really allow them to operate in this digital economy. There was learning loss, and many of you know what has happened with our children. And it continues today as many schools remained closed and with inadequate broadband across countries to efficiently and effectively support online learning. It's been tough, and for those of you with kids, you've seen exactly what has transpired. This COVID-19 pandemic has brought into sharp focus our progress towards bridging the digital divide. And it exposed the true status of connectivity right across our regions. It has heightened the need for renewed focus and greater investment to move to a truly connected societies. The rapid digital transformation necessitated by the pandemic is an ongoing measure of our readiness for a truly digital economy, as well as a marker for our journey to fully connected societies. And while many operators across the region have been investing in their networks to keep their customers connected, we have been challenged to meet the necessary scale required for ubiquitous connectivity across our markets. We therefore welcome the continued dialogue around the role of information and communication technology in national development and bridging the digital divide. As key stakeholders, all of us here in this session are key stakeholders. We remain mindful of our role and how we can contribute to progress. But let's start with accessibility and affordability. The commentary around broadband access, especially over the last 2 years, continues with much responsibility being placed on the telecoms providers. We accept our responsibility and we continue to play our part making those investments. Where one of the main challenges to access has been the last mile connectivity. That last mile to the home. Across the region, we've seen various programs being funded and rolled out to address this. But notwithstanding those efforts, we have a long way to go. And in this period of an evolving digital economy, we do not have the luxury of time to really get this done and implemented. Secondly, this conversation must consider that even if the issue of access is addressed, a very significant challenge is the inability of many to afford broadband service. It therefore means that while our respective governments manage funding for their own country's fiscal purse, we must also balance this with the income level of the very population we're all trying to serve. This is not a new challenge, because right across the region, we must now make it a priority in every conversation on and plan to bridge this huge digital divide that exists. And so today, I want to focus on what our future could look like. Present you a sort of roadmap, if you will, as to how we can get there and highlight the benefits in store for all of us if we work together and look at how we can establish various types of public-private partnerships, PPPs, that are needed in this time to drive the digital inclusion required to enable the progress of our citizens right across the region. We've been talking over the past year in our country, in Jamaica particularly, but across the Caribbean, about EBB, an emergency broadband benefit program. Across the Caribbean, broadband penetration rates remain below 50%, leading to digital exclusion and limited opportunities for many. Most recently, the pandemic has shone a light on the communities that remain unconnected and had difficulty participating in online learning, working, or work from home throughout the pandemic. Governments have stepped in to support in bridging this community of the still unconnected or the unserved and the underserved to the digital world. We have seen various elements of this in various forms in different countries over the years. We applaud the previous efforts of our government stakeholders and invite a more cohesive partnership with the operators to really connect more of our people. We, the operators, are here to work together with you, as well as the community, to design the best approach to getting to truly connected nations, achieving our respective ICT vision and goals. But where has this worked before? Across the globe, national and local governments have deployed public-private partnerships to bridge the digital divide and increase broadband adoption. Approaches have varied, ranging from investments in government-owned network infrastructure, as what is happening in my country, investments directly in ISPs through grants and other incentives, and social programs that assist individuals in affording and accessing the connectivity they need. In 2021, the Biden-led US Congress passed a bill providing $3.2 billion in funding to help low-income households pay for broadband service and connected devices. The program offered a discount on internet service of up to $50 per month for eligible households, up to $75 per month for households on tribal lands. That's one way. In the LATAM space, Costa Rica's National Telecommunications Fund, FONATEL, was established in 2009 with the purpose of universalizing internet access right across the country. Since its inception, FONATEL has provided approximately 30,000 households and 400 rural schools with broadband services, with a long-term goal of extending its service up to 140,000 households. So what could EBB look like for the region? So there are great examples of what the model for access and the affordability program could look like. Across the region, each country or nation has a unique structure and positioning regarding subsidies and social safety nets that supports its economic situation. In Jamaica, we have a program called PATH. Regardless of where the country is, we believe that the best way to advance broadband adoption is by creating a partnership with the internet service provider who has the infrastructure, has the technology to connect these homes. The local government who determines the best way to support the community and lift up its vulnerable population, and the community organizations who are trusted and already connected to the community members. Beyond these programs, however, we must also consider access to devices. Our citizens also need devices in order to take advantage of the connectivity that we are rolling out. How can we make this happen for our citizens? Across the Caribbean, there are common external tariffs on devices being brought into the countries. These CETs are a deterrent and have been flagged as a barrier to access. We need to look across our countries in the region and address this access to devices. These should be duty-free. These should be tax exempt. We have to look at development and growth in a real and progressive way. These devices are required by our students for learning and our entrepreneurs for business. How else do we unlock this layer of access if we do not make it cheaper for the technology to enter the market and be affordable to our consumers? Social empowerment and enablement, creating an ecosystem for digital inclusion. If we committed to executing this well in a holistic manner, we also need to prioritize the social impact. So having expanded connectivity across our markets and removed other barriers to access, we must also empower our people to fully participate in and take advantage of the digital economy. Here in Jamaica, Flow has been at the forefront of driving digital inclusion through our Flow Foundation as we empower thousands of citizens to enable their progress through our digital literacy and professional training programs. And while this is a great start and a focus, it takes more than just the private sector to build the kind of ecosystems that will drive sustainable change. Cross-sector collaboration will be critical for success, and an excellent model of this is being developed in Curacao with private sector, public sector, and non-profit stakeholders. We have an opportunity now to build a connected Curacao through low-cost device discounted service from the ISPs, through fixed and mobile, sponsored broadband subsidies to eligible households, free digital skills training from nonprofits, discounted devices from manufacturing and refurbishing partners. The telecommunications industry, government, educational institutions, and nonprofits are all working together to drive broadband adoption. And this is the kind of collaboration we need replicated right across the region to close the digital divide. For our part, LLA has been working towards solutions to bridge the digital divide in the Caribbean. In accordance with our core social mission to connect everyone to the internet, irrespective of where their income or where they live, we are committed to harnessing our resources and capabilities to narrow the digital divide in our region. Right now, we are working on a program that will provide subsidized broadband services to qualifying low-income households. This investment, and this is an investment from the private sector, in affordable broadband can help ensure that everyone has access to the connectivity they need for work, school, health, care services, and even more. In addition to the connectivity, we also envision expanding our partnerships with community organizations to provide local digital literacy training and other adoption supports to bridge the digital divide for the eligible families and communities. As we engage with strategic stakeholders and potential partners, our focus is clear on the result. What we want to see is this: a better life for everyone through connectivity, a higher GDP and quality of life across island nations. Every country has a social safety net. For this and for us, this is a necessary investment. While countries have various programs to support its most vulnerable community members with basic needs such as food, housing, and transportations, we believe connectivity is now an essential service that must be supported for those in need. What could this look like for countries like Jamaica? This investment leads to higher rates of broadband penetration, which correlate with high GDP per capita in 21st century economies. This increased broadband penetration helps drive economic growth by increasing labor force productivity, improving efficiency of businesses across the economy, and attaching international cooperations and providing remote educational opportunities. If we aim to support our children and our next generation of future leaders, there are more than 200,000 households in Jamaica that could be impacted by this program. Think about it. The impact of this investment We know when we measure GDP per capita right across the region, we understand that most persons, even at the average, fall below the average. And poverty line right across the region, we know there are so many people across who can't afford the service. The impact of this long-term investment will change lives, unlock the potential in the economy, and truly enable progress, as we will all see more students connecting for virtual learning and using school learning platforms, increased connectivity for telehealth services. We'll see improvements in graduation rates and more devices distributed, further supporting broadband adoption. Job candidates able to improve their search for work and application access. This is our opportunity to close the internet penetration gap that currently exists between our region and our more developed neighboring nations, and take several steps to meeting our ICT agenda and the relevant UN sustainability goals for the region. For all the partners involved, it showcases social responsibility. Together, we're ensuring that all people and economies have the connectivity and the resources that they need to learn, grow, and prosper in a 21st century digital economy. Together, we are investing in a new program which will help ensure families can afford the connections they need for work, school, healthcare, and more. Together, we are extending active social efforts to support students, job seekers, and to improve access to services. There's also increased access to other business partners and organizations as part of a consortium of businesses whose values align. And our customers are better able to connect to online banking or shopping apps with reliable internet access. In closing, our vision is to create a world-class digital economy in the region. The internet is an indispensable lifeline to the world, and closing the digital divide is a moral and social imperative. It is critical that we get there, and it cannot be left to the private sector alone. It requires public-private partnerships and the collective will and fortitude to power through and get it done. The collective will and the fortitude will help us to power through and get it done. It is an achievable ambition. And here at Liberty Latin America, we're ready to move forward. I thank you all for your time this morning. Let's work together as partners and get this done. Thank you very much.